First, let me share with you a few stories about the transformative impact of libraries and librarians. You will have stories of your own, which you're invited to post to the discussion board for the course. Astrid has just arrived from Latvia to begin high school. She finds that her English skills are not what she had thought they were, despite her years of study. She goes to the public library, where the librarian recommends to her some good resources to improve her conversational English. And through that library, she soon forms new friendships with other students in a really cool new music, composition, and performance space there. Emilio is a university student. He's the first one in his family to go into post-secondary education. He's struggling in his first year, though, with the requirements of his term papers. And at the university library, the librarians show Emilio how to research his papers more thoroughly and more carefully. And soon he is not just getting better grades, but he's making better use of his time. Now, time matters to Emilio because he works at 2 part-time jobs to support his tuition. He loves the social space at the university library, where he can collaborate with his classmates on his group assignments. He has felt isolated in his classes. Back here in the library, he is reassured that his classmates are really a lot like him. A university library makes its archival collections come alive for students. The librarians there have been collaborating with the faculty at the university to create a new course that neither could create on their own. It's a course that's based on the papers of a 19th century politician. And in this course, the students don't just learn the historical context, but they learn how to work with manuscripts and how to use digitization equipment and how to create a digital version for access by others. These librarians are deeply embedded in the scholarship and the teaching of their university. They generate excitement about research to students. Sarah is a young entrepreneur. She wants to start a company in digital imaging. She knows a lot about digital imaging and she has some really good ideas, but she doesn't know much about starting a business. The business librarian at the public library becomes a key resource for Sarah, providing information on incorporation and intellectual property and financing. But that information is only the beginning, because that library is closely networked with other organizations that deal with business. So our budding entrepreneur gets both information and specialized advice seamlessly through this library and its network. And Sarah is now connected socially with other business startups. Libraries and librarians make a difference, a transformative difference in the lives of the people in their communities every single day. And that's why we advocate. It's about those people and those communities. But we all know that there's a real risk of loss of current services and future potential because the stakes just aren't well known or they're not very well understood. When you ask most people about libraries, they will tell you that libraries are about books. Or as my colleague Ken Roberts says, people see libraries as the guardians and protectors of print in a world that's mostly digital. Now, as a lifelong lover of books and ebooks, I'm not here to argue against printed books, but library advocates know that the lending of books, even though libraries still do that, and it's still a highly popular service, is not the essence of librarianship. David Lankus, a passionate advocate for librarianship at the iSchool at the University of Syracuse, says that the mission of librarians is, quote, to improve society by facilitating knowledge creation in their communities. We are talking about a powerful mission with awesome impacts, impacts that go well beyond the collecting and lending of materials. In fact, one could say, and many people do say these days, that libraries are as much about connections as they are about collections. That is, they are about connecting people with ideas and with one another. Libraries and librarians are here for all sorts of communities, cities and towns and universities and colleges, hospitals and schools and law firms, so that they can achieve their aspirations. Is anything more essential to the future of our knowledge-based economy than robust knowledge creation? Is anything more essential to the quality of our community life? And that community could be a college, a school, a city, a business, any kind of human group, than to have great physical and digital spaces where people meet and learn and share and create knowledge. Great libraries make a great difference. That's because they're plugged in. They know and respond to their communities because they are in continual conversation with them and because they're continually scanning the horizon for great ideas that their communities can use. They are deeply embedded in the learning and work and the leisure of their communities. They're nimble in response to changing needs and changing technology opportunities. They are strategic also in their mindset. They're also highly social in the way that they operate. So they are really bonded with their communities. They are not apart from their communities, standing to a side as just another service provider. Great librarians help their communities to understand and articulate their community's aspirations. And they are, more than that, they are leaders and facilitators of action toward the achievement of those aspirations. They are driven by mission and not by self-preservation. In contrast, I believe that libraries and librarians who do not do this, who do not work in this way, are actually on a steep slope downward to irrelevance. In fact, I'm not aware of any advocacy approaches that can overcome the serious disadvantages of being unresponsive or uninformed or detached or fixated on their collections or their technologies or their internal politics rather than their communities. I simply cannot emphasize that too strongly. So the assumption of this course is that we are advocating for libraries and librarians who are working flat out to get it right. This course in advocacy is not about nostalgia. It's not about a glorious past, although we certainly have one. And it is not about the selling of slick messages either. The course is about exercising informed, ethical, and strategic influence in support of libraries and their impacts on communities. It is based on evidence of what works in advocacy and not just on hope. I want to add that this course is not just for librarians. It's for all who support the advancement of our communities and their future. If we want our communities to thrive, our advocacy is a matter of stewardship and trust. It is also a matter of urgency. So we are beginning with these essential assumptions. Welcome to the course. I'm really glad you're here. In the next video, we're going to look at the values of librarianship and why these values matter so much in our advocacy.